Hey, I'm Josh, and this is the OCall Podcast. I'm going to explain the Expert Soldier Badge, tell you who can get it, give you the day-by-day testing phases and events. So first off, I use TRADOC Reg 672-9 and TRADOC PAM 672-9 to get this information, and I have them both linked in the description below. Before you can try to earn the ESB, there are some prerequisites and eligibility requirements that you'll have to meet. You must be an active member of the U.S. Army, Army National Guard, or Army Reserves. You must not be infantry, special forces, or medical MOSs or branches. You need to have passed an ACFT in the last 6 months, and I'm going to expand a little bit more on this in a little bit. You must be recommended by your brigade or battalion commander, and you must meet height and weight standards. You also can't be flagged, and you must have qualified expert on the M4 or M16 rifle. Active duty soldier qualifications need to be within the last 6 months, and Guard or Reserve soldiers need to be within the last year. Also important to note here, before we move on, soldiers with permanent medical profiles may compete as long as their profile does not prevent them from completing any of the required events. Up next, we have the train-up period. The TRADOC Reg states that regular Army ESB train-up should be at least 7 days and end at the beginning of the testing period. For Guard and Reserves, the Reg has a bunch of recommended training and testing options. However, it's most likely going to take place in conjunction with an annual training. It's important to note here that for each active Guard and Reserve ESB, the testing must be conducted over 5 continuous days and must begin no more than 3 days after the completion of the official train-up phase. So, by now you must be wondering, what does the test consist of? Well, the test consists of 4 phases. Phase 1 is a PT test. Phase 2 is land nav. Phase 3 are your weapons, medical, and patrol lanes. And Phase 4 is your 12-mile ruck march plus a final event. Let me break down what each of these days and phases consist of. Day 1, Phase 1. On the first day, graders will validate that you have a PT test on record. Similar to the weapons qual, active duty soldiers must have completed one within the last 6 months, and Guard and Reserve soldiers must have completed one within the last year. Then you get to the actual ESB PT test. It consists of 30 hand-released push-ups, completing the sprint drag carry in 2 minutes and 10 seconds or less, and finishing the 2-mile run in 18 minutes or less. No alternate events are authorized. Day 1, Phase 2. You'll have to complete both day and night land nav courses. Each land nav course must be completed in 3 hours or less, and you must find 3 out of 4 points. The points for the night course must be different than the points that you received during the day course. Also, the day course has distances between 800 and 1,000 meters, and the night course has distances between 600 and 800 meters. Day 2, Phase 3. This phase consists of your weapons lanes. You're going to need to be familiar with all of these different weapon systems. The M4 or M16 rifle, the M320 or 203 grenade launcher, the M17 or M9 pistol, the M249 or 240 Bravo, hand grenades, the M18 Claymore, the M250 Cal, and the Mark 19. You're going to have to clear, disassemble, reassemble, and perform a functions check on these platforms, and you'll need to operate and engage enemies with some of these platforms as well. It's important to note here that there can be many different variations or weapon systems used or added to the list of these weapons. However, you'll get to know them during the train-up period. Day 3, Phase 3. This phase consists of your medical lanes. You can review TRADOC pamphlet 672-9 for each step and performance measure that you'll be graded on for all of the weapons, medical, and patrol lanes. I'm not going to read the reg to you, but I'll give you an overview of what to expect. During the medical lanes, expect to perform the following events. Request medical evacuation. Provide care under fire. First aid to restore breathing and/or pulse. Evaluate a casualty for heat injury. Control bleeding. Evaluate and treat a casualty for spinal injury and shock. Apply a dressing and perform a needle decompression. Apply first aid to an open head wound in a sea-burn environment. Treat an open abdominal wound and eye injury, and treat a fracture and burn. Day 4, Phase 3. This phase consists of your patrol lanes. During this phase, you'll have to complete all of the following events, as well as a few other commander-selected events. Move under direct fire, tactical handheld radio, dagger operations, camo and visual signaling techniques, chemical and biological operations, resection and military maps, and transmitting a spot report using a manpack radio. The TRADOC Reg mentions 5 ESB tasks, but it also says that commanders can select their own instead of these listed here on the screen. So you'll learn what the extra events are during the training period, but in general, you can expect to do 2 of these events during the weapons lanes and 3 of them during the patrol lanes. Day 5, Phase 4. This phase consists of the 12-mile ruck and the final event. The 12-mile ruck march must be completed in 3 hours or less with 35 pounds of dry weight. Your M4 and water source are extra. The reg says that the ruck march may be conducted during the day or night, but it'll likely be conducted the morning of day 5. Your unit may require a packing list and conduct a layout at the end, but this isn't required by the regulation. 5 minutes after completing the ruck march, you'll have to complete the final event. During this final event, your ruck will be weighed to make sure that it's 35 pounds of dry weight. The final event consists of clearing, disassembly, assembly, and performing a function check on the M4 M16 rifle in less than 5 minutes. Good thing you already had to do this event during the weapons lanes, right? After successfully completing the final event, congratulations, you've earned the Expert Soldier Badge. Let us know in the comments below if we missed anything or if your experience was different. And don't forget to subscribe to the OCall podcast if you like content like this.